Most people think attraction is random, unpredictable, or something you can't control, but that's completely false. Attraction follows psychological patterns, and once you understand the right one, you can trigger it almost instantly in anyone you meet. Not through manipulation, not through tricks that make you look desperate, but through a simple shift in how you present yourself. And the crazy part is this, most men never learn it, so they keep trying harder while the guy who barely says a word ends up being the one everyone is drawn to. Before I even welcome you to the channel, let's break down what this video is really about. There's a psychology trick, a real one, not the fake gimmicks people push online, that changes how someone feels the moment they interact with you. It's rooted in how human beings respond to confidence, certainty, emotional safety, and the feeling that you're not trying to take anything from them. When someone senses those things, attraction switches on automatically. They don't know why they feel it. They just feel pulled toward you, and they start giving you their attention without you asking for it. This matters because most men try to create attraction by talking more, proving themselves, being extra nice, or trying to impress someone. But that approach works against you. It makes a woman think she has the upper hand, and once she senses that, the spark drops. What I'm going to show you is the opposite, a way to carry yourself that makes her lean in, mentally, emotionally, and physically, because it triggers something deep in her psychology. Now that you get what we're diving into, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going into the psychology trick that makes anyone instantly attracted to you. I'll explain exactly how it works, why it works, and how you can start using it in your daily life. By the end of this video, you're going to understand attraction in a way most men never will. By the end of this video, you're going to understand attraction in a way most men never will. 1. The power of effortless presence. Attraction often begins before you even speak. Most men think the first thing that draws someone in is what they say, but the real spark starts long before words enter the picture. It's the energy you walk into the room with. It's how you carry yourself when you're not trying to impress anyone. And this is where effortless presence comes in, the kind of presence that makes people look at you without knowing why. Effortless presence isn't about acting cool or pretending to be something you're not. It's about removing the habits that make you look needy, reactive, or uncomfortable in your own skin. Because whether you realize it or not, people can feel when you're searching for approval. They sense when you're watching their reactions too closely or trying too hard to be liked. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who looks like he's waiting for permission to exist. What creates effortless presence is actually very simple: comfort. When you're comfortable with yourself, other people automatically feel more comfortable around you. They lower their guard. They become curious about you. They start paying attention. And this happens because human beings are wired to be drawn to people who project calm, ease, and subtle confidence. Not loud confidence, subtle confidence. The quiet kind that doesn't beg for anything. Think about a moment when you walked into a place feeling tired, stressed, or self-conscious. You probably noticed people weren't as responsive. Now picture a time when you walked in feeling good, relaxed, not trying to prove anything. People noticed you more, didn't they? Conversations felt easier. Others were drawn to you without any effort. That shift wasn't random. It was your presence. Here's a situation that shows how this works. Imagine a man who walks into a social setting with no intention of impressing anyone. He's just present, relaxed, taking his time, observing the room instead of rushing to talk. He's not scanning for reactions or trying to fit in. He's just there. And without forcing anything, people, especially women, start noticing him. They can't explain why, but they feel drawn to him. This is effortless presence. It's not about being the loudest guy or the most attractive guy. It's about having a grounded energy that speaks louder than anything you could say. When you master this, you instantly separate yourself from most men. Because most men are trying too hard. They come off tense, eager, or invisible. But the man with effortless presence stands out without lifting a finger. He's interesting without performing. He's attractive without chasing. And people feel that immediately. Attraction doesn't start with charm or looks. It starts with the energy you bring into the room. If you learn to control that, everything else becomes easier. 2. Why emotional control pulls people in. If there's one thing that instantly makes someone more drawn to you, it's emotional control. Not coldness. Not shutting down. Just the ability to stay grounded no matter what's happening around you. People naturally gravitate toward the person who remains calm when everyone else gets reactive. It signals strength, stability, and confidence, 3 things that create instant attraction without you ever needing to say a word. Most men don't realize how quickly they lose attractiveness when they become emotionally shaky. Overreacting, getting annoyed too fast, trying to force a certain outcome, or getting thrown off by someone's mood, all of these behaviors make you look unstable. And when you look unstable, you lose respect and attraction automatically. Women especially pick up on this because emotional sensitivity is one of their strongest instincts. They notice shifts in tone, energy, or behavior instantly, often before you even realize you changed. Emotional control doesn't mean being emotionless. It means you don't let other people's actions dictate your reactions. When you can stay centered, you become more predictable emotionally, and predictability creates trust. Attraction grows way faster when a woman feels she can trust your energy, not just your words. When you're calm, she feels safe. When she feels safe, she relaxes. And when she relaxes, attraction has room to grow. A man with emotional control doesn't panic when plans change. He doesn't get insecure if a woman takes a little longer to reply. He doesn't lose himself when someone tests him or tries to get a reaction. Instead, he stays grounded, and that grounded energy forces people to respect him. It also makes them curious. Because being around someone who isn't controlled by their feelings is rare today, the key to building this is awareness. Most emotional reactions happen because you don't catch the emotion early enough. You react before you understand what you're reacting to. But when you train yourself to slow down, breathe, and observe what you're feeling before responding, you become more intentional. You stop being a man who gets pushed around by every emotion that passes through him. Here's what makes emotional control so powerful. It changes how people treat you. When a woman sees that she can't easily affect your mood, not with teasing, not with a test, not with mixed signals, she naturally becomes more attracted. She realizes she's dealing with a man who's anchored, not someone who crumbles under pressure. And that kind of energy is magnetic. When you master emotional control, you stop chasing validation. You stop getting thrown off by games. You stop overthinking things you can't control. Instead, you show up with a steady confidence that makes people want to be around you. The more grounded you are, the more attractive you become. It's a simple shift, but it changes everything. 3. The attraction effect of scarcity. If there's one psychological pattern that people respond to almost instantly, it's scarcity. When something is rare, it becomes attractive. When something is always available, people stop valuing it. This applies to money, opportunities, and yes, human relationships. Most men misunderstand this, and they think being available, consistent, and always present will make a woman appreciate them more. But scarcity doesn't work that way. The more she feels you're always there, the less she feels she needs to win you over. Scarcity isn't about playing games or pretending to be busy. It's not about ignoring people or acting uninterested. It's about genuinely having a life, priorities, and self-respect. When you operate from that mindset, you naturally become a man who isn't accessible every second, and that alone increases your value. The moment a woman realizes you're not sitting around waiting for her, her mind shifts. Attraction grows because she subconsciously starts wondering what makes you so focused, so disciplined, or so content without constant attention. Think about it. When something is always within reach, you don't chase it. You assume it will always be there. But when something has boundaries, when its attention isn't guaranteed, you start paying more attention. Human psychology responds to that pressure. It creates urgency. It creates curiosity. And it creates desire. What makes scarcity powerful is that it forces people to step into the game. If a woman feels like she's the only one putting in effort, she gets anxious. She invests more. She thinks more. She becomes more alert to your presence and more affected by your absence. You don't need to push for anything because her mind does the work for you. She starts imagining possibilities, thinking about what you're doing, and asking herself where she stands with you. That inner tension is what creates real attraction. Men lose this advantage when they make themselves too available. Constant calling, non-stop texting, always saying yes, these things make you predictable and easy. And easy never feels valuable. A man who practices healthy scarcity doesn't disappear, he simply doesn't throw his time around. He knows his worth. He understands that his life has structure, purpose, and direction, and he's not willing to break that for anyone. Scarcity doesn't just make you more attractive, it makes people respect you more. You become a man who has a center, a backbone, and a purpose that doesn't revolve around attention or approval. That kind of energy stands out immediately because it shows you're not driven by fear of losing someone. You're driven by your own growth and direction. When you understand scarcity, you understand one of the strongest psychological triggers of attraction. Not because you're withholding affection, but because you're showing that your attention matters, and not everyone gets unlimited access to it. 4. How confidence changes everything. Confidence is one of the most talked about traits in dating, but most men misunderstand what real confidence actually is. They think it's about acting bold, being loud, or pretending to have everything figured out. But true confidence is quieter. It's steadier. It's the kind of energy you feel from a man who trusts himself even when things don't go perfectly. And that kind of confidence changes everything about how people respond to you. Real confidence doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from accepting yourself. When you're not constantly trying to hide your flaws or overcompensate for them, you naturally carry a calmer energy. You don't rush your words. You don't panic when conversations slow down. You don't feel the need to fill silence because you're comfortable even when nothing is happening. That ease makes you look strong without you having to perform. The truth is, people can sense insecurity instantly. They feel it in your tone, your body language, your reactions. You can be the best-dressed guy or the most physically attractive, but if your energy says, "I'm not enough," everyone around you picks up on it. And once that feeling shows, attraction drops fast. Confidence works the same way. It communicates something before you say a word. It signals that you know your worth, and people respond to that without even realizing they're doing it. Confidence also affects the way you make decisions. A confident man doesn't overthink every move. He doesn't worry about what someone else might think. He chooses based on what he believes is right. This alone makes women pay attention, because most men operate from fear of rejection, fear of saying the wrong thing, fear of being judged. When you're not operating from fear, you stand out instantly. Another important part of confidence is being able to handle pressure. If a woman challenges you, teases you, pulls back, or becomes distant, a confident man doesn't crumble. He stays calm. He doesn't chase. He doesn't try to force reassurance. He keeps his pace and trusts that if it's meant to work, it will. That calm reaction creates more attraction than anything you could say. Confidence also makes your presence feel heavier, in a good way. You command space without trying to dominate it. You make people curious without trying to impress them. You're naturally interesting because you're not trying to sell yourself. You're just being who you are, and that makes people want to lean in. Here's the part men forget. Confidence isn't built by thinking about it. It's built by doing difficult things, keeping promises to yourself, removing people-pleasing habits, and proving to yourself that you can handle challenges. Every time you choose discipline over fear, confidence grows a little more. When you carry real confidence, everything becomes easier: conversations, attraction, respect, even the way people look at you. Because confidence isn't a trick. It's a signal. And people are naturally drawn to a man who trusts himself. 5. The secret trigger. Being unbothered. There's a powerful shift that happens the moment you become a man who isn't easily shaken. Being unbothered doesn't mean being cold, rude, or detached. It means you don't lose your balance whenever someone tests you, disappoints you, or tries to get a reaction. This single trait creates instant attraction because it tells people you have emotional strength, self-respect, and a life that doesn't revolve around anyone's approval. Most men go wrong by reacting too quickly. They panic when a woman pulls back. They get irritated when something doesn't go their way. They try to fix things immediately because discomfort makes them anxious. This is exactly what kills attraction. The moment she feels that you need her response to feel okay, she loses interest. Being unbothered breaks the pattern completely. What makes this so powerful is that being unbothered shows that you value yourself. You're not afraid of silence. You're not afraid of uncertainty. You're not afraid of waiting, walking away, or letting things unfold naturally. You're grounded, not desperate. And when a woman sees that, it instantly raises how she views you. Here's a situation that captures this perfectly. A man is talking to a woman he likes, and suddenly she becomes distant. Instead of panicking, double texting, or asking what went wrong, he simply continues with his day. He doesn't rush to fix anything. He doesn't let his mood drop. He stays steady. When she eventually reaches out again, and she almost always does, she feels the shift. She can sense that he didn't fall apart without her attention. That alone makes her take him more seriously. This is the psychology behind being unbothered. When you're not affected by every small change, people feel they have to earn your emotional involvement. And that makes your presence more valuable. Being unbothered also changes how you communicate. You speak slower, calmer, and with more control. You don't respond instantly out of fear. You don't argue to protect your ego. You don't try to convince someone to see your worth. Instead, you make decisions from a stable place. You respect yourself enough to stay calm even when things aren't perfect. There's a confidence in being unbothered that people can feel without you explaining anything. It's attractive because it shows you're not emotionally fragile. You're not easily manipulated. You're not seeking validation. You're a man who can stand on his own, and that automatically gives you a different level of presence. The secret is this: the less you need to prove anything, the more magnetic you become. Your energy feels controlled instead of chaotic. You react when you choose to, not because you're pushed to. You communicate your value without saying a word. Being unbothered is not a performance. It's a mindset. And once you master it, people start treating you differently, with more respect, more curiosity, and more attraction. 6. How to build magnetic energy. Magnetic energy isn't something you're born with, it's something you create. It's the way you carry yourself, the way you move, the way you speak, and the way you think. People feel it before they even understand why they're drawn to you. The good news is that magnetic energy comes from habits, not luck. And once you understand what creates it, you can build it on purpose. The first element of magnetic energy is clarity. People are naturally attracted to those who know what they're doing and where they're going. You don't have to have your entire life figured out, but you should have direction. When you have goals, structure, and purpose, you walk differently. You talk differently. You make decisions with more confidence. And that energy pulls people in because most people feel lost. Being around someone with clarity feels refreshing. Another key factor is how you manage your attention. Most men give their attention away too easily. They chase conversations, over-explain, try too hard to impress, or constantly look for approval. Magnetic people do the opposite. They are selective. They treat their attention like something valuable, not something to throw around. When you're selective, people naturally want more of you. They feel the difference because you're not giving attention out of need, you're giving it out of choice. Magnetic energy also comes from being grounded. When you're calm and steady, it makes others feel safe around you. People enjoy being near someone who isn't overwhelmed by stress or controlled by emotions. Your calm energy becomes contagious. You start to influence the room instead of being influenced by it. That alone makes you stand out. Another piece of magnetism comes from your presence. This means being fully engaged in the moment instead of constantly distracted. When you listen fully, when you look someone in the eyes with relaxed confidence, when you take your time speaking, you create a stronger connection. Most conversations today feel rushed or shallow. When someone actually pays attention, people feel it deeply. Magnetic energy also comes from your boundaries. When you respect your own time and standards, you teach others to respect them too. You don't let people walk over your values. You don't agree to things just to be liked. You don't shrink yourself to fit into someone else's comfort zone. That kind of self-respect makes you more compelling because it shows you have a backbone. Finally, magnetism comes from your internal state. If you're constantly anxious, insecure, or overthinking, people feel that. If you're confident, grounded, and comfortable with yourself, they feel that too. Attraction is emotional, not logical. People respond to your state of mind more than your words or appearance. Building magnetic energy is about becoming a man who feels good in his own skin. When you align your actions, mindset, and presence, you naturally become someone others want to be around. That's real magnetism, and it's something anyone can build with intention. Here's the truth that most men refuse to admit. Attraction isn't about trying harder or doing more. It's about understanding how people are wired and using that knowledge to naturally pull them toward you. If you've been stuck, frustrated, or confused about why she doesn't seem interested, it's not always her, it's the way you're showing up. And that's something you can change, starting right now. The psychology trick we've talked about today isn't some gimmick. It's a subtle shift in how you present yourself, how you carry your energy, and how you interact. When you apply it consistently, you're no longer just another guy hoping for attention. You become someone she can't stop noticing, someone who sparks curiosity, desire, and connection without even trying. And that, honestly, is the kind of presence most men will never develop because they're too busy chasing, over-explaining, or overcompensating. Here's something to think about. If you keep doing the same things you've been doing, nothing will change. Attraction isn't given, it's earned, through how you make her feel, how you hold yourself, and how you let her chase the connection instead of the other way around. I want to hear from you. Try these strategies, notice the difference, and share your experiences in the comments. I'll be reading and engaging because this isn't just about theory, it's about real results and real growth. Take action, pay attention to how people respond, and watch how the dynamic changes around you. Remember, attraction is a science and an art, but the moment you understand it, you hold the key. Start using it wisely.